Hello everybody. Today I'll be presenting my project, Study of Weakness. So, weakness. How do you define it? Is it a lack of power, influence, strength of character? That wasn't enough for me. It was really difficult for me to find a definition for what I felt was a catalyst for an imaginary state of mind. Hearing this, you're probably thinking, what is he talking about? Isn't this supposed to be the study of weakness? And you're right. I conducted interviews, I studied psychologists, found patterns, all for the answer to the question, what is weakness and what does it do? Every academic definition that I found, be it in Young Studies or written in some dictionary, painted this thing, weakness, so invisibly. But weakness really only started to take shape when I heard it in the words of the people that I interviewed. Eventually, I came to the conclusion that weakness was a flaw or vulnerability that had manifested. And it had manifested in three separate ways. When I asked people if they thought everyone had a weakness, they were quick to say, oh yes, of course. It's real, prevalent even. Everyone has weakness, right? When I asked them what their weakness was, that's when they froze. And those that didn't freeze were aggressive. They rejected it. There was an anger in their state of mind. Some people reported feeling lost or not their true self, as if this weakness had somehow stained their true being. And this wasn't a one-time thing. I observed this in a variety of people. It was a pattern. And this is how I coined the first manifestation of weakness, the denial and anger of weakness. The narrative would follow that a person would have a shell of denial. And once the shell opened, the unsupported quickly rejected their weakness, trying to push themselves away from it. I spoke to a variety of people, and even during these interviews, I watched as people left their own shells. Freud writes in his studies about the idea of a preconscious, the raw and instinctual parts of the brain that will hopefully lead to someone's acknowledgement of themselves. However, I didn't see this. What I saw was a continuous anger for themselves. However, this wasn't the case for everybody. Some people that I interviewed had already undergone this breaking from their shell. This is how I came to find the most dangerous manifestation of weakness. Viktor Frankl writes, when we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. I watched as people had created or created for themselves personas. These personas were active in some, dead in others. What was always certain was the certainty of the current self. Those that were currently in a persona vilified their past selves. And those that had had a persona in the past acted like they were so much better than what they had been. There was a constant rejecting of this weakness that they had. Some people underwent massive physical or character changes in order to separate themselves. And when they no longer had this shell of weakness, they had to create this mask to function for them instead. This was the first type of persona change that I noticed. It was the most narcissistic. It was based on self-interest, how someone felt about themselves. It was created to separate themselves from the weakness, from any possibility of the person that they were being weak. But this wasn't the only type of persona change. I also found people that accepted labels. Some did it to avoid conflict. Others did it just to create a name for themselves. I could define this as the most egoist approach, based on the wants of others, the public perception. I quickly found that persona could become extremely destructive. People were willing to destroy the version of themselves that they had been before, willing to do anything to rid themselves of this weakness, even if it meant their true self would be enveloped by the character they had created. But this wasn't development. These were masks upon masks upon masks. True development came from the third manifestation that I noticed: connection through weakness. When the shell had broken, those with the community could develop without losing the version of themselves they had been before. Durkheim writes, "Man cannot become attached to higher aims and submit to rule if he has nothing above him to which he belongs." Those with the support system, who were family and friends, a vision of what they could be a part of, became motivated to prove themselves rather than change themselves. It became clear to me that community was the underlying changing part of this weakness when I realized those with community quickly developed and those without it yearned for that community. When baseless, people fell under the pressure. But when supported, they grew. This isn't to say that community was going to eliminate weakness. Rather, community would guide the development and manifestation of the weakness. So remember, a community creates people who are willing to prove all of themselves, while an audience creates people who will only show what is accepted. And the first step is you. Reach out to your community, and I mean it, because that means everyone. Because we all truly need a community. Because in the end, we all have a weakness. Thank you.